but other
So numismatic evidence, these are roughly dated. We are working on the report. So total 11 on the western mound and 5 kinds from the eastern mound and 1 kind is from the surface. So the kinds were very much in corroded form, and so of conservation lab of the federal department, and these are in Shahis respectively. This is the east from the eastern mound section, and all of them are found from layer 3. This is stated with menander period. So his copper kinds, but these are his copper kinds in split upwards is Vesilias, Sotiras, Menandera, and similarly on the reverse it is Kopin Kharoshti and Maharaja. These are the half unit of Menanders, but on the weight, dia, and the next one is elephant head to right in Greek inscription, most probably illegible, and the reverse is club, and the inscription, the Kharoshti inscription is illegible. This is again these are kinds and 1 from Shahi kind. So the first kind is associated with Kajula Confucius. According to the Rabatak inscription, he was the great grandfather of the renowned Kushan king Kanishkwana. So this is his kinds, and almost it is difficult to identify. So the coinage of Kajula Confucius illustrates expansion of Kushan religious perspective. So he issued several group of kinds. This is one of his kinds. The next one is associated with Havishka, and this is his imitation with the reduced weight and dia. The king riding on elephant, right, and the reverse is illegible. The next one is Vasudev. This is quite clear and it is in good form. This is discovered from the top of the mound, not from the excavated area, from the western mound. And you can see the extending king facing left with scepter and Vishu and bull on the reverse with Bactrian inscription, but it is illegible.
So it comes from the surface?
Exactly. Yeah, this is from the western mound.
From the surface?
Yes, sir. From the surface. So this is the late Kushan kinds, the continuation of Kushan kinds in late period, and you can see the extending king facing left, and most probably Vishu standing before bull facing left. This is one of the kinds of most probably Shahi period, and we stated with bull facing left, lying down. The inscription is missing, but Shri is slightly visible. Horseman facing right. So conclusion. No, sir. It is from the layer 2, from the top. Conclusion. So the kinds recovered from the present excavation strengthen the chronology of the site. Before, we don't have any research on the kinds of this site. Although this site excavated for 4 or 5 different period of excavations by different teams. So the present numismatics findings include kinds of Indo-Greek, and that is menander. So all the kinds from the eastern mound is stated with menander. And one is this is from the western Mount Havishka, and one of the official issue of Vasudev of the later Kushan. One of a single specimen of the Shahi period included in the present lot. This is quite amazing that before we don't have any kinds of this period. Okay, suggests that the site was under the occupation of Indo-Greek, and the Indo-Greek kinds are only found from the eastern Mount. So a number of people helped me to identify, and this is my professor, Professor Dr. Bala Hisar, the Department of Archaeology, a geocrypt from former keeper of kinds in Middle British Museum, and Mr. Saddam Hussain, who is sitting here. He helped me a lot to identify some of the kinds. And thank you so much.
I think if anybody has any questions, you can ask it. No question. Okay. Now I would like to invite Mr. Asif Mahmood Rana to present Jain Frescos in Pakistan and analysis of Tīrthaṅkara images.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share with you people some of the findings of my PhD research work. I'm working on Jain art in Pakistan under the supervision of Professor Dr. Ibrahim Shah Sahib, and today I'll be presenting only the Tīrthaṅkara images out of the wider topic. And okay, so today I'll try to present a very brief overview of Jainism in Pakistan and importance of the Tīrthaṅkara images, especially in the Jain frescoes, which we will be discussing. And I'll try to contextualize the frescoes, that which fraction of Jainism these frescoes belong to, and which region and which time period. And then I'll discuss briefly the images and present some of the conclusions. So Jainism in Pakistan, if I only discuss the historical periods, otherwise the Jain literature, it extends their history in some of the regions in Pakistan to a date that cannot be justified. The only phases that we archaeologically we have some evidence are, first of all, we have evidence in Saqib, though it is also debatable, but from 4th century BC to 1st century BC, there are another two stupas in Saqib that are considered to be of Jain origin. Then we have a gap, and we don't have any sites till 2nd to 4th century, when there are some remains in Murti, district Chakwal, but we don't have any paintings from these first two phases. We have some sculptures from Murti, but so far I haven't found any Tīrthaṅkara images in these sculpture collections. Phase 3 and phase 4 are important for today's discussion, because phase 3, which is from 10th century to 17th century of the Common Era, and especially Jains were very active in Tīrthaṅkara region, and the temples in Tīrthaṅkara, they belong to this period. It is a matter of discussion whether the paintings in these temples also belong to the same period or not, because we find some traces of renovations and repainting of the walls. So this is another topic to discuss it, whether it belongs to the same period or not. And the last period that I'll be discussing is from 19th century to 20th century, when Jainism was very active in Punjab. And so the subject matter of the Jain frescoes. The central theme of Jain frescoes is Tīrthaṅkara images. Tīrthaṅkaras are Tīrthaṅkaras are actually the highest. They are of the highest rank in the Panchaprameshti of Jainism. Panchaprameshti is the spiritual ascetic ranks of when a person he accepts the life of houselessness. He is called a sadhu. A sadhu, when he gets some knowledge and he can teach others, he is a upadhyaya. And a upadhyaya, when he leads a son, then he is an acharya. And acharya after moksha is a siddh. And if a siddh is the ultimate supreme head of the Jain dharma, then he is called Tīrthaṅkara. So Tīrthaṅkara is on the top of the religious or spiritual hierarchy. So it is definitely the most important figure in the paintings of Jainism. We find Tīrthaṅkara images. Tīrthaṅkara images are in different forms. For example, we can find some of the scenes from Panchakalyanak. Panchakalyanak are the 5 auspicious events in the life of every Tīrthaṅkara that are present in Kalpa Sutra. And these Panchakalyanak are like Garbhakalyanak, when a Tīrthaṅkara's embryo is conceived in his mother's womb, and she had 14 auspicious dreams. So we have these paintings. And then we have the paintings of Diksha Kalyanak. The second Kalyanak is Diksha Kalyanak, when he renunciates the material life. But we don't have any painting of this Kalyanak. And the third one is Keval Jinan Kalyanak. When the Tīrthaṅkara, he attains the absolute knowledge, we have paintings of this Kalyanak. And then he then afterwards he attains nirvana or moksha, and he leaves the material world. So this is the 5th Kalyanak. I think I have left one Kalyanak. Janma Kalyanak I have left. The first one is Garbha Kalyanak, then Janma Kalyanak, then Diksha Kalyanak, and then Keval Jinan Kalyanak, and finally it's the Nirvana Kalyanak. Now we will be discussing Tīrthaṅkara images. Next please. So there are 24 Jinas or Tīrthaṅkaras. Every one of them has a special auspicious sign, which is called a chin or his vahan. And this is the only thing that we can distinguish between Tīrthaṅkaras. And another thing can be that we have an inscription that can confirm an image. And if we don't find an inscription and a chin, then we'll categorize it in generic images, because it is a common practice in Jainism that they make generic images of Tīrthaṅkaras. They make an image, and if a temple is dedicated to a particular Tīrthaṅkara, then they call that image, they name that image accordingly. So, which fraction of Jainism these frescoes belong to? We can have a look on the division of within Jainism. So Jainism faced the Great Schism in 4th century BC and divided into Shvetambras and Digambaras. And Shvetambras then in the medieval period, they divided into Murti Pujak and Sthanakvasis. Sthanakvasis are those who reject idol worship and construction of any temples, so they don't have any paintings. So only we find paintings of Murti Puja. And in Pakistan, the divisions of Murti Puja are, there are many divisions, but only 2 main groups that were Khartaragach and Tapgach. Followers of these 2 gachs, they were very prominent in Punjab and Sindh, and all the temples that retain paintings, they belong to these 2 gachs. So the Khartaragach, in Khartaragach there are Dada Gurus, and there have been 4 Dada Gurus in Khartaragach, and the important one is the 3rd one, Shri Jin Kushal Suri. The third Dada Guru of Khyber was Jain Kushal Suri, and his importance is that he preached in the Khyber region and he died there, and his samadhi is still there. So the temples in southern Punjab and Tīrthaṅkara region, they belong to the followers of this Dada Guru, Sri Jain Kushal Suri. There are also Digambar temples in Pakistan, but we don't find any traces of paintings in Digambar temples. We only find paintings in Shwetambar temples, and in these regions I have earlier said that only Murti Pujak Jain, Shwetambar Jains, and in Murti Pujak only two Gach, Tapa Gach and Khatara Gach, they were prevalent, and so the paintings belong to these two Gachs. Here you can see Samadhi of Jain Kushal Suri, the third Dada Guru of Khyber. It is just in front of the Khyber fort. And can we go to the back of our previous slide? This one? Yes. You can see the image of Jain Kushal Suri. Some Hindus of the Khyber, they also venerate Jain Kushal Suri, and this image is taken 2 months before. In a Hindu temple near Khyber, so they still venerate and sing bhajans in praise of Jain Kushal Suri. He was very influential in 13th, 14th centuries. Now, in Khyber was prevalent in southern Punjab and Tīrthaṅkara region, but in northern Punjab, Tap Gach was prevalent, and in the 18th, 19th century, there was a reformer, very influential, Vijay Anand Suri. Most of the Jain temples in northern Punjab, like in Sialkot, Narwal, Sankhatra, Rasulnagar, Gujranwala, Sialkot, all of them, they are the result of the efforts made by Vijay Anand Suri. Most of the temples were constructed, and the Pran Pratishtha of these temples was also performed by Vijay Anand Suri. So the biography of Vijay Anand Suri, it leads us to many of the temples and their period of construction and their dedication to specific Tīrthaṅkaras. So geographically we can see that there are basically 3 main clusters of Jain temples in Pakistan, in northern Punjab, southern Punjab and Tīrthaṅkara region. In northern Punjab, I have named all the cities where we find Jain temples or some sort of remains, but have circled only those temples in which we find Tīrthaṅkara images. So we find images in Rasulnagar, Sankhatra, and in southern Punjab we find in Multan, and in Tīrthaṅkara region we find Tīrthaṅkara images in Gori temple and in Nagarpalkar temple. So the first fresco which I am going to discuss, it belongs to the Sankhatra Jain temple, which is dedicated to Dharmanatha, who was the 15th Tīrthaṅkara. It is a beautiful temple and in a better state of preservation as far as the main Mohmand is concerned. Otherwise, because of water seepages and botanical outgrowths, the condition is not very good and frescoes are in bad condition. Here you can see in the mandap under the dome all the 14 auspicious dreams that Tīrthaṅkara's mother has before the birth in Garbhagrihanak. They have been painted, and in the 15th panel this image has been painted. After enhancing colors and relining the image, we find that it was the image of the 24th Tīrthaṅkara Mahavir. Although the temple is dedicated to Dharmanatha, that we find from Atma Charitra, the biography of Vijay Anand Suri, that this temple was dedicated to Dharmanatha. Otherwise, the image inside is of Mahavir. We can we can identify Mahavir from his line Vahan, and four principal disciples are sitting on the sides, and 4 other lay votaries are also present here. In the 16th panel, I said that 14 panels are of dreams, 15 panels has the image of Mahavir, and the next panel, it has also a generic image of Tīrthaṅkara. It can be of Mahavir, and it has been, the scene is of Samavasarn. After a Tīrthaṅkara attains Keval Janan, omniscience, he organizes an assembly of all the creatures, humans and animals, lay people and monks. So this assembly is called Samavasarn. And Samavasarn image can be identified from concentric circles or squares that are made for adjusting lay people, Shravaks, Shravikas, and the sadhus and sadhvis. So from these circles and these squares, we can identify that it is the image of Samavasarn. So here you can see that after attaining Keval Gyan, Tīrthaṅkara, when organizes Samavasarn, you can see image from 15th century manuscript. Now the next image that I am going to discuss is of Shri Parshvanatha Shwetambar Jain Mandir, Chubisarai Bazaar, Multan. On the right side you can see the first floor of the temple, and the dome that is left to the shikhar. Inside this dome is present this fresco, beautiful one, of Shri Parshvanatha, and we can identify from his snake Vahan and 7 hooded snake canopy. So this is the image of the 3rd Tīrthaṅkara. And below the shikhar we have the sanctum, Garbhagriha of this temple, and we find 7 images of 7 Tīrthaṅkaras, 5 on the top of the entrance and 2 on the flanking sides. And in the vertical lines, we find above Tīrthaṅkara images, then Chakravartins, and then the Dadaguru images. So these 5 above the doorjamb are the Pushpadanta, the 9th Tīrthaṅkara, Mahavir, 24th Tīrthaṅkara, Parshvanatha, 23rd, Adinatha, the first one, Chandraprabha, the 8th one, and all have their specific Vahans. Because of that, we can easily identify them. And on the vertical lines, the Tīrthaṅkara images are Neminath, who was the 22nd Tīrthaṅkara, and Vasupujay, the 12th Tīrthaṅkara, with their respective Vahans. And on the wall we find beautiful 3 Tīrath parts, the pilgrimage maps of the sacred sites of Jainism. They are commonly the Tīrath of Shatrunjya, Samet Shikharji, Girnar, and these are Ashtapada. These are commonly painted, and here we can see these 3 are different ones, but because they are in a very bad condition, the central one is really hard to identify. Otherwise, the left one, it can be identified because the clusters of temples on Shatrunjya hills, they correspond to this painting. That's why we can identify it as the Shatrunjya Tīrath part. And keeping it in Tīrthaṅkara images is because in the Tīrath parts, miniature paintings of Tīrthaṅkaras have been painted. And in the left one, a cluster, the square cluster that you can see, is the temple of Adishwara, and they call Adinath or Rishabdev, the first Tīrthaṅkara, Adishwar, and this temple is dedicated to him. And in the above portion of these Tīrath parts, there are 14 auspicious streams that Vama Devi, the mother of Parshvanatha, 23rd Tīrthaṅkara, had before the birth of Parshvanath. Here you can see the miniature images of Tīrthaṅkaras in Adishwar temple of Shatrunjya, and you can see it has been plated with gold leaves. The next temple is the Shwetambar Jain Mandir of Rasool Nagar in district Gujranwala. And the first image that has Tīrthaṅkara in it is, you can see in the on the left side, it also seems to be a generic image because there is no Vahan, or maybe it has been scratched. So I can put it in the generic images. It is under a specific tree, If we know the Tīrthaṅkara, who is the Tīrthaṅkara, then we, from Kalpa Sutra, we can identify which tree is it. Because we don't have the Vahan or any inscription, so we cannot conclusively say about this image. The next very beautiful image in the same temple is of Navpad or the Sixth Chakra. This is a charm, this is like a taviz or the most important, the prayer of Jainism. The first 5 lines of that prayer are inscribed in the 5 blue circles in which they praise the Panchaprameshti. Here you can see the Panchaprameshti. In the lower circle you can see, on the right circle you can see Sadhu. Then in the lower circle it is Upadhyay, then Acharya, then Siddh, and at the center you can see Tīrthaṅkara. And we don't have a Vahan, that's why we cannot say which Tīrthaṅkara is it. So we can call it a generic image. On the right side you can see a Siddh Chakra in metal. It is not in the temple, but last year Jain monks came to Pakistan and they had this portable metal piece of Siddh Chakra. So it is very much similar to the fresco, that's why I have put it here. The next fresco that I am going to discuss, they belong to the Bazaar Mandir or the Jain Mandir of Nagar Parkar. It is a beautiful temple. It is the present condition after the restoration work done by Endowment Fund Trust and Antiquities of Sindh. So otherwise before it was in a really poor condition of preservation. So the first image is again of Samiullah that I have discussed in the Dharmanatha Shwetambar Jain Mandir of Sarkatra. So here we are sure that which Tīrthaṅkara is there. I have enhanced some colors and made the markings. So we find that line Vahan is there. Elephant Vahan is there. So elephant is the sign of second Tīrthaṅkara, Rekhudev or Ajita Nath. Both of the names are for the same Tīrthaṅkara. And here in the above full panel you can also notice on the left Airavat, the right of Indra. And in Jain mythology, Indra is also very important. It organizes all the auspicious events in the lives of Tīrthaṅkaras.
Excuse me. Could you go back?
Karsa, please.
Okay.
The previous slide.
The last one. That's the headdress.
Yes.
What is that? The form of the headdress.
Yes. Actually, I have redrawn the lines, otherwise it was scratched. It is a different one. In the body images, you would see that it looks like that some leaves or some more punks are also there. So I cannot clearly identify it that what is the material. Otherwise, in the present day, they make crowns out of gold and silver to adorn Tīrthaṅkara images. The previous one, please. So this is another beautiful fresco, though very scratched. It is at the entrance of the sanctum of the temple. At the center, there is Sri Lakshmi, and on the right and left extreme sides, 2 Tīrthaṅkaras. On the right, Ajita Nath with his Adinath, with his bull Vahan, who is also Vishnu. And on the left side, we find Ajita Nath, the second Tīrthaṅkara, with his elephant Vahan. In the mandap walls, we find all the Tīrth Patas like Samet Shikharji, Shatrunjya, Ashtapada. So this image is of Shatrunjya hill, and we find 4 images of Tīrthaṅkaras, and this is a very important painting because you can see all the 4 Tīrthaṅkaras are not in a straight linear line. Rather, the third one is bent. So actually it is that Tīrthaṅkaras are present on all the 4 cardinal positions, but in a linear painting they have unfolded that square and have depicted them in a linear line. Otherwise, this is a samadhi, and or a temple in which 4 Tīrthaṅkaras are seated in 4 different directions. So 3 inscriptions are very clear. That the first one is from left, Malinath. The second one is Adinath, but the third one, third inscription is scratched. So possibly it is of Mahavir, because when they make a group of 4, they add Mahavir in it. Commonly add in it, but it is not a conclusive evidence that it is for sure Mahavir. And last one is Parshvanath. And okay, the next is that the door jambs and lintels, they have been adorned with Tīrthaṅkara images, but there is no Vahan, no Jain. That's why I think these are generic images. These are 8 Tīrthaṅkara images painted on the walls. And on the concentric circles of the dome of this temple in the mandap, we find more Tīrthaṅkara images. But still we don't find any Vahan or any inscription so that we can name them. Okay, another beautiful but unfortunately faces are scratched. This fresco is of Ashtapada, and Ashtapada is very important. We can also see Ravan on the extreme right side. And in Jain mythology they say that in the next, in his next life, Ravan would be the 25th Tīrthaṅkar, because on Ashtapada he venerated all the 24 Tīrthaṅkaras, and he played Veena for them, and then the strings of Veena they broke. He took out his vein from his leg and bound that vein with the Veena and played Veena for them. So because of this respect for Tīrthaṅkaras, he will be the next Tīrthaṅkar. We find Chatur Patta of all the 24 Tīrthaṅkaras. So this is the only example of Chatur Pattas in the Jain frescoes in Pakistan. We find all the 24 Tīrthaṅkars, and all the 24 Tīrthaṅkars are with their auspicious signs, their Vahans and Jains, so we can easily identify them. But someone has scratched the faces. And here I would like to mention that it is not that the Muslims of the vicinity, they hate Jains. Jains have other enemies also there, because the majority Hindus, they also don't like Tīrthaṅkara images, because in Jain mythology, Hindu deities are subsidiary to the Tīrthaṅkaras. They are the attendants of Tīrthaṅkaras like Indra. So that's why they are not in good terms. So the local Hindus, before the Muslims came to Nagarpalka region, they scratched off the faces. Probably they scratched off the faces. So the next temple, very beautiful one. It has hundreds of paintings, miniature paintings and larger ones. So, and in a very good condition. This is the Godi temple. Godichi was also the name of Parshvanath, the 23rd Tīrthaṅkar, and based on a very ancient story, this temple was constructed in 11th, 12th centuries, and the paintings, they may belong to a later period, because from some broken plaster zones we can find signs of renovation. So the paintings can be of a later period. So the temple is overall dedicated to Parshvanath. One concept is that all the 24 Tīrthaṅkaras have been painted in these frescoes. Another opinion from a Jain scholar was that Parshvanath in his different forms has been depicted in different colors. All the images in this temple are of Parshvanath. We have some inscriptions in Devanagari, but none of the inscription is a label of Tīrthaṅkara image. These are labels like Rathban, Aveche, and Gujarati. These inscriptions, language is Gujarati. Otherwise, the script is Devanagari. But we don't find the names of Tīrthaṅkaras in these inscriptions. Here we can see a very different headdress has been given to a Tīrthaṅkar, where something long is waving from the ground, and it can be Morpunk, it can be another thing, it is not very much clear. So these are again generic images, no Vahan is there. And in the Rang Mandap all the panels, they have been adorned with triads of Tīrthaṅkaras. 3 on each panel have been painted. Some are in good form, some are scratched ones. The hue of the body is different, but again we cannot say which Tīrthaṅkara is there. In the Rang Mandap, the beautiful inside of the dome has been adorned with Parshvanath image because the temple is dedicated to Parshvanath. I assume that this dark skin, because Parshvanath is shown in dark skin. So this can be Parshvanath in his Godi or Godichi form, when his name Godichi. Okay, some other images in the Antrala. Again, we don't find any chin. Okay. Yes. The first thing is that why Tīrthaṅkara images are, temples are adorned with Tīrthaṅkara images, because all the Jains, they venerate Tīrthaṅkaras the most, and they consider their lives to be the ideals for their monastic life. That's why, and because they want to concentrate in their prayers, that's why they make these images. So these temples, we can find many Tīrthaṅkara images that are in like scratch form. Tīrthaṅkara images are the central theme of all the paintings that are present in Pakistan. And as I have earlier discussed, that all these images, they belong to Murti Puja, Shwetamra, Jain sects. And the dress code and the jewelry is very interesting, because this region, especially Tīrthaṅkara, it is connected with Rajasthan and Gujarat. And though Punjab is not connected with Rajasthan and Gujarat, of the Indian states of Rajasthan and Gujarat, but Vijay Anand Suri, he spent much of his life in Gujarat, and he was given the title of Acharya after many centuries in Gujarat, and he brought Jiina images from Gujarat to Punjab, and then he performed Pran Pratishtha of these temples. So the artists, they were also instructed to follow the dress code of Gujarat, because they were in some inspired by these areas. So these fragile frescoes are falling day by day. When I first documented the images in 2015-16, there were more beautiful Tīrth parts in Rasulnagar temple. But in 2019 and 2022, when I revisited these temples, they were fallen down or scratched by ignorant visitors. So we need to preserve them, and there was a very good idea presented in yesterday's first session by Dr. Samiullah, that with the help of her and the technique which she is developing, we can digitally preserve them and then reconstruct these images for the scholars who want to do more in-depth study on these images. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Asif Mahmood Rana. If audience want to ask any question, you can. I think there is no question. Now, to present the topic, the Buddhist sculptures from Abba Sahib Cheena, Swat, I will invite Mr. Saqib Raza. Please.
Good morning everyone, my teacher, my colleagues, my students. So, today I am going to present the Buddhist complex of Cheena, which was excavated by the Directorate of Archaeology and Museum. So, can you go next please? So introduction, as you know, Gandhara is symbolized of Central East Asia like the present delta of Pakhtunkhwa. In the ancient history, it has played a vital role, like in the art, in the Buddhist art, even in the like the whole of the Gandhara art, if we say. So it has a very wide road from the 3rd century BC up to 5th and 6th, so on. Swat is one of the most important zones. As you know, Swat really held a strategic position as well. It connected 3 zones like South Asia, Central Asia, and China as well. So the geographical position of Swat has a very vital role in the amalgamation of art, literature, religious philosophy, like the culture, the traditions. Even one of the 2 sects, you can say, of Buddhism are basically from Swat, which is the Tantric Buddhism. So the Padmasambhava, the Lord of the Tantric Buddhism, the birthplace was Swat. So these are some of the very important which need to be present to the world even, like we have this treasure, like the Tantric Buddhism, even the origin of the Mahayana Buddhism are started from this particular region. So as you know, like in Swat Valley, we have a large number of the Buddhist complexes, like one of the oldest one, like Budkar 1, Budkar 2, 3, Shingardas Stupa, Sedu Sharif, Amdukdara, and other as well. Abba is one of them, and it is lying very in the, like you can see in the center of the mountainous region. Very close to it there is Abba Cheena, very close to it there is Amdukdara. Opposite to the Amdukdara there is also one important site like we have on the top of that mound, which Italian Archaeological mission are working over there. So Swat region is very much important regarding Gandhara. It has a very vital role to establish the chronology of Gandhara. So this is the map. Yeah, you can see the map here. So the excavation of South Cheena, it was conducted by Director for Archaeology and Museum in 2019 and 20. And we have excavated more than 1600 statues from this particular site. It is one of the richest sites, I would say, in Gandhara. And I would definitely say we have more than 23 chapels and 26 votive stupas, including a stupa of if you can, next please. Yeah. So this is basically before excavation. So we went there in 2019. So it was full of vegetation and wild growth. There was only 2 stupas which were visible at that time. It was if you go next please. Yeah, this is also before excavation. This is the eastern stupa. There are, I would say, in Gandhara region, this is the only Buddhist complex which is comprised of 4 main votive stupas. And it is one of the terrace structures because all the stupas are made in terraces, like terrace 1, terrace 2, terrace 3. So the 2 and 3 basics, the main stupas are made on the top of the mountain, and the rest the votive stupa are very close to that stream, which is right in the middle of this Buddhist complex. You can see, this is during excavation. We have found some of the sculpture as well, the skeleton as well, with some of the beads. Beads are some of from lapis lazuli, some are from shells, some are from bones. So we have found almost 6 beads very close to this, and one Muslim era coin as well. Can I have some water, please?
Right behind you.
So this is the plan of Abba Cheena. So you can see, in the leather. So you can see on the opposite to this stream, there was only one main stupa. Okay, thank you. So at first there was only this stupa, like the main stupa of the Buddhist complex. The second one is this, and the third one. But after that, you can see a few huge cluster of votive stupas and chapels were recovered during the course of excavations. So this is the main plan, which was the aerial view. So at first we have found just this one, and the rest of all these structures like the water stupa and chapel were recovered during the course of excavation. Yeah, so this is one of the sorry. So this is the lotus base votive stupa. I have never seen the votive base lotus stupa in Gandhara. So I would definitely say this is one of the earliest, one of the first one. Lotus in stucco. It was decorated in stucco. If you can see closely the picture, this one, yeah. So these are some of the strong sculpture like the Tīrthaṅkara Jataka. One of the renowned Jataka, you can see the Buddha images in meditation pose. You can see the Buddha in Abaya Mudra. So we have a lot of findings from this particular site. So this is the tree worshipper, and these are basically from Hinayana period. This site has like each and everything, and if you see like the archaeological findings, so we have found that these tree worshipper, it was found on the stupa first, on the very basis of the first stupa. So you can see they are basically worshipping the tree, and it is basically from Hinayana time period. Yeah, this is a very beautiful one, a female with a laureate with a definite bleak feature. So one of the important one, you can see the wing embryo with bow. So it is one of the foreign influences like the Greek influences of Gandhara art. This is again Eros, a Greek art. This is Corinthian capital with Bodhisattva, and you can see this beautiful Corinthian capital adorned with two horses, like they are dragging basically the lotus flower, which is the Buddha is sitting on that lotus flower. And there are two other figures which need to be investigated later. I'm on it, I'm also doing my PhD on it. So the final result will be shared with you. And these are some of the chatras. For the first time I have seen chatras which were depicted with the images of Buddha. So I have never seen the chatras with so this is one of the rare feature of this Buddhist complex. Yeah, this one. So you can see the Buddha on chatra. Some of the images, you can see the perfect Corinthian pilaster. As you know, like Greek have three classical order, the Doric, Ionic, and the Corinthian. So mostly the Gandharan artist has chose the Corinthian one because it has some beautiful leaves and some acanthus leaves as well. So you can see this is the perfect example of Corinthian plaster. Yeah, so this is a pillar, the bracket, and interestingly, can you go back please? Back please? No, the one with the laureate, the female laureate. Yeah, this one. Interestingly, we have found some of the gold traces on the face of this female figure. So I would say like maybe like all the sculpture were adorned with the gold plated art. It will be gold washed, all the sculpture. So on the face of this is not actually the final product. Like when we see the schist, like above the schist, there was another material which was used by those artists at that time. As you know, like the artist has done their work, but there is a need to respond to that art. Like art has everything. It has its feelings, it has its emotions, it has everything. It has the content of that society, if you really want to focus on it. So it has everything of that society. And it shows the society of Swat, like Swat has this beautiful society which has, I would say, like the universities of Buddhist art. I would say like there was a zonal school, because every statue, every Buddhist complex has a very different character which differentiated from one statue to another statue. So their face feature, like if you see the Dara art in Dir region, so it will be have like elongated faces, still like the Dir people having these kind of faces. So if you see the art in the Swat region, it will be having the same definite feature as the Swat people now has. So it is one of the great features which need to be investigated further. There is a lot of space in research field. Yeah, this is again a very beautiful brackets. So if a civilization can make these kinds of brackets, so you can imagine how great those civilizations were. Like they are making their brackets those beautifully. Today, like if we make a building, so the engineer will say like it will be sustained only for 40 years. But at that time, the Abba Cheena has a very intact roof. So the engineering, like they were on the top of their engineering, they were on the top of their art, on their architecture, their religious harmony. So these are, we have also found some historical sculpture as well, some beautiful Buddha head. This is again the same thing. It's a Corinthian capital having the traces of like the green and red painted. And after the XRD analysis, that red paints are basically the rusted iron. The rusted iron was used to paint all those like the Corinthian plaster, the Buddha images and stuff. Some terracotta sculpture as well. Yeah, this is the beautiful image of beautiful figure from terracotta again. Terracotta. This is a fragment of terracotta, male head, very beautiful one. You can see like the intrication, you can see the perfection in their art. Again, some painted line head. The Corinthian capital, this is also from terracotta. There's some inscription as well. Like what an archaeologist need really from excavation, like we have found each and everything from this expedition. Like you can see, we also have found some of the inscriptions, like the relic casket as well. So these are some of the inscriptions you can see. This is section number. I'm ready on it. I have sent it to different scholars. So I'm investigating it. Some mural painting as well. So mural paintings are, after consulting with Luca, like he told me, like these are basically the dry fresco, the dry fresco. So the dry fresco are basically found from these two arches. And this is the Buddha, no wing arrows. After XRD analysis, this is also rusted iron. So you can see the male figure. It is really on the roof of an arch.
Saqib, sorry, can you go back? Yes. Yeah, no, that's the wing Buddha you say?
No, this is basically wing arrows.
Okay.
Arrows.
That's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, this is another beautiful male figure and some other figures as well. The visual figure in Anjali Mudra is like this one. Some beads as well. So you can see these beads are basically found very close to the skeleton. And there was also one of the Muslim time period coins was recovered very close to the neck of that skeleton. We have found these beads very close to their skeleton. So these are some of the coins. So coins are the reliable source to identify the respective rulers and dynasty. These are helps in establishing absolute chronology. So we have found like 7 coins, the 3 different dynasties which identify the basics of numismatic evidence, including Indo-Scythians, Kushans, and Khwarezm Shah dynasty. So from that skeleton we have found Khwarezm Shah dynasty coins. The coins recovered are attributed to Aziz II, Mehmed Karteses, Mehmed Deva Kanishka II, Alauddin Khwarezm, and next please. So these are the coins. You can see Aziz second coins, Kanishka bronze coin, Vasudeva coins, Alauddin Muhammad Khwarezm coins, and So skeleton remains. You can see this beautiful skeleton with some of the beads and coins as well. So I have place coin here and beads here. You can see. So these are the coins which were found very close to the skeleton. This was
Where the skeleton was found?
it was very close to the bracket of a chapel. Yeah, very close to that area. Yeah. So this was our team. You can see everyone. So.
Thank you so much, Saqib. Raza, if you have any question about, you can ask.
Saqib, you have presented a wonderful presentation, and Abba Cheena is a very important science within Odiyana. What I want to know, that is regarding painted figure of Buddha. But to me, the news which came through media, particularly in the newspaper, as well in one of the channels, that a winged Buddha figure was painted in Fresco. And such type of figures are available, are very popularly made in China. Now, what is the present status of this winged painted figure?
Sir, we have we really want to excavate it. We really want to detach it from that bracket. But after excavation, it was like faded with the passage of time, after the sunlight, after the other environmental factor. So it was very much faded away, like after very 1 month of our excavation. So we really need hard to preserve that one, but still we have that painting. Still it is in the store of Swat Museum. If someone from our literary, from the artist, if we see from the artist point of view, or if we see, yeah.
So the moment when this figure was exposed,
Yeah.
so you people not try to cover it,
So we have
because we need to cover. I have a certain experience exposing painting on this stuff. We cover those because the sunlight and the dust flowing, and in some cases, students who are not aware regarding the significance of such valuable things, because these are rare, particularly from Swat and from other areas. So why not try to cover it, to protect it from the sun rays, from the dust, and as per routine, because students whenever they are cleaning it with the brushes. So because this I think for the first time someone came to us to expose it. Any such attempt have been made by you?
You are very much right, sir, because these are one of the rarest dry fresco painting we have found in
Because
Sahib.
in the past, because of inexperience, Abba, one of the largest Buddha figure, particularly Rana, and that was mentioned by Jain, but very unfortunately, because of the inexperienced hands, they started digging and they dismantled it. later on somebody told them that this was one of the unique figure of stucco reported by some German. So remember that in future, if you people are going to expose such thing, so do cover them. Because the view factor is playing a role, and when students and excavators are coming in the morning and they are excavating, so the dust is going to cover the day. And when the students or the research scholars, particularly of the laborers, are going and cleaning, so that is one of the causes creating this kind of thing. So try in your future to cover it, because the sunlight and the dust is not the only feature, not the only factor to deface. There are so many other things. So I think the inexperience hands made it way for its research. So you people have the photograph of it.
Yes, sir. I know, sir, your concern, and you are very much right, sir. Like these are one of the rarest artistic valued fresco, dry fresco painting we have in Nanda, which is very much rare. Even the whole Buddhist, even the whole Abba section was one of
This was your first ever excavation.
This was my first ever excavation, and sir, I want to enhance your knowledge during this dry fresco. It is still intact. It is still in its own form. It just needs to be like some skillful hand to reconstruct those things.
I have been so many times during the excavation, but not on the day you were excavating.
Oh, yes.
So I found it that negligence was one of the major causes. And I think that if it was made preserved, so this might have been one of the unique and glorious object of Ganga.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I must add one thing more.
Please.
He corrected you and he's right. But you see that the stucco things, whether it's smoldering or sculptures or other things, and the fresco paintings, other paintings that you expose, they're exposed to moisture for a long time. And when you expose them and you let them dry instantly,
Yes.
it dismantles.
Exactly. It's
So you have is right, you recover it for some time and let them dry slowly and gradually.
yeah.
Okay?
Sir,
Thank you.
Can I say one thing? Sir, actually, we have tried to, we have waited for it to dry, but because if you want to detach that stucco thing, it was painted on a stucco, so that stucco was very much wet at that time. So we waited to get it dry. So at that time, like the dry fresco was also like it just faded. We just need that environment again. Few humidities or whatever it needs. We have the same thing. We have this it is the same thing like we have in our stores.
साकिब बेटा बात दरअसल ये है जैसे सर ने कहा हमें ऐसी डेरी सी भी ऐसी मिले बेशुमार जगहों से हमें ऐसे मिले हैं डॉक्टर साहब ने भी किए हम लोगों को जब मिला एक वहाँ पे और भी थे हमने उसको फौरन बाकी की तौर पर ताकि वो महफूज रहे असल में जब आप इसको कवर कर देते हैं ना तो ये खुद वहाँ पे जो है वो सूख जाता है लेकिन जब आप इसको रहने देते हैं और व्यू फैक्टर मॉइस्चर वगैरह और उसके बाद डस्ट जब उसके ऊपर जाती है ना तो एक और लेयर उसके ऊपर और फिर रेगुलर बेस पे आपके स्टूडेंट जो आपके साथ ही आए और उसको ब्रश करते हैं क्योंकि मैंने 4-5 दफ़ा उसको विजिट किया है और वो जो आप लोगों के ब्रश के स्ट्रोक्स थे ना वो उसके ऊपर बहुत ज़्यादा विजिबल थे और उस चीज़ ने उसको बिल्कुल ख़त्म कर दिया तो ये एक
इसके लिए साइंटिफिक रीजन है क्योंकि जैसे आप मिसाल देता हूँ आप एक चीज़ को बहुत गर्म करते हैं और एकदम उसको ठंडा करते हैं जो ऊपर से क्रैक्स पड़ जाते हैं इसी तरीके से ये नीचे इसकी डैम्पनेस होती है ये अभी फैले हुए होते हैं और सरफेस जब भी ड्राई हो जाता है तो उसमें क्रैक्स पड़ जाते हैं। ये है कि वो ग्रेजुअली सब ये नमी
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now I will invite Mr. Samiullah to present the archaeological survey of Mohmand district. Mr. Samiullah.
My respected teacher, my colleagues, students, Assalamu alaikum. My topic is archaeological survey of district Mohmand. We started this archaeological survey in 2021 till 2022. And then we stopped because the security insurgency and line order situation. So that's why we stopped it. This archaeological survey was funded by Directorate of Archaeology and Museums, Khyber, Pakhtunkhwa. When we started this archaeological survey, I was leader at that time, and we have archaeologists Mohmand, Hafiz Sahib, and Mr. Abba, he was also part of this survey. Next, please. To know the archaeology and geography of the movement, we studied the map. It is located in a very strategic position. It has divided sub into 8 DC. This portion of you can see this is the Nava parcel and this one is the Corsal parcel. Nowadays these parcels are functional and mostly the prehistoric caves and rock shelters are situated in these regions because this pass was used in the ancient time. That's why the people came from the Central Asia and South Asia and used these routes. So these are a very common for the prehistoric caves and rock shelters. So this, you can see the north has Afghanistan, the west has the Nangarhar Vilayat of Afghanistan, and south have Khyber Regency. East, southeast, and what we say the northeast have Charsadda, Malakand, and Peshawar. So this is the geography. Next, please. Sir, when before the partition of Pakistan, the movement has governed or they are administered by the local Khans, which is named Asala Khan, and it has 3 Khans, which was the first was Lalpura Khan, the second was Patiala, and third was Yakawan. So then, when after the partition, Pakistan, the Khyber Mohmand district, Mohmand agency was the part of the Khyber agency. Then the local, what we say, Malaks came to the governor and they made the issue that we will separate your agency. In 1951, they built a separate agency, and they were the Yakawan was the initial headquarter of that time, and then they were transferred in 1970 to the Balanai, and nowadays it is situated there. But in the 2018, this district was merged. जैसे कि आपको पता है कि ये उधर उन्होंने जो है ना amendment हुई थी. Then it was merged into Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The federally administrated, it was a federal FATA area, then merged into the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So this is the short history of the district movement. Next, please. The main tribes in the district nowadays living life residents, basically the main three tribes were living in here. Mohmand. Mohmand has sub-6, Weze, Leze, Alize, Tarakze. And then the Saqib, as well, they were living in there. So Kandari, Gurbaz, Masood, Shinwari. These are the four major tribes. And then the Uthman Hill are also reside in this area, sir. So next please. These are the well-known personalities of the Mohmand and the ancient time, Qalandar Khan Mohmand, Abdullah Had Mohmand, Emil Khan Mohmand, Dr. Sonoba Hussain Kaka, Rahman Baba, Abdullah Had, Abdul Hamid Kaka, Dost Muhammad Kamil sir. These are the well-known personalities who work in the different aspects in the society. Like the Emil Khan Mohmand was a very well-known warrior at that time. Abdullah Khan Mohmand was the first Pushtun who went to the space. And Qalandar Khan Mohmand was a well-known poet. So these are the well-known personality at the moment. Next, please. Sir, these are the two major passes which was used in the ancient time, like Now pass. In the ancient time, they would use when the Alexander came to that region, so they used the Now pass. And another route which was also functional nowadays, Gorsal Pass. In the locally, we call him a Gosalai. The local language, we call him as a Gosalai, but the literally we use as a Gorsal Pass. Next, please. Apart from this, we have more passes because the moment have 90% of the area of Mohmand district has mountainous. That's why there are many passes which is interconnected their fjords and there were valleys. That's why they use passes to the Afghanistan. And nowadays it is closed, but two passes are open. Next, please. So now come to the point that when we started the survey, we have documented after the last 224 sites we have documented, and we classified into different periods like prehistoric, Gandhara, petroglyphs, Indugri, Buddhist, Islamic, and Islamic cemetery. Please, next. So in the prehistoric cave, as I mentioned earlier, that the prehistoric caves and rock shelter, naturally they were built in the double stories and single stories were still preserved there, and they have many sites which I will show you another chart. These are the artificial caves which is used. What I'm thinking that my colleagues I share that these are used by the historic age caves. So next, please. This one, the close view of the artificial caves. Next, please. These are the petroglyphs, very rich and very common in that area. The petroglyphs and very common. We have a different scenes like which is very common in the movement. Vases are also very common in that area. Next, please. These are another scene, and you can see that, sir, you can see the animals. Next, sir, these are aksharas, and these are the animal. And for the presentation, next please. So the movement district is very common, as well as when we visit these sites, different sites, we have found the Indo-Greek coins of Euphrates, Basilias, Basilian, Euphrates, and riding on horse is Daisaraya riding on horse, and the upwards we have next previous. This is the bust of king, and this is the Maninder bust of King Basilyas Sodar Maninder. So these are the sites and Tīrthaṅkara Sangar site, which is near to the Valanai headquarters. We want to excavate that area, but the local people and as well as security issues, we couldn't the excavation. So next please. These are the structures of Buddhist like diaper machinery and rubble machineries. Next please. These are also the rubble machinery and structures you can see. Next please. This is the semi-actual machinery also found in that area. So next please. So this is a very interesting that when we were recommended the symmetry of Islamic symmetry, so we found that the entire mound have the Kushan period of site. That when we documented at that time, we take a picture. We saw that the Hurusht inscription were erected at the sir, you can see, sir?
Yeah, I can see.
Yes, sir. So the Hurusht inscription was installed at in the graves. So these are when we were recovered from the area and we went to the museum. Nowadays we have place in the reserve collection, sir.
Anybody decide what the description was?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jambul has very well known and he's a great legacy. That's why, sir, he told him, and as well as, sir, Moisar also, he has deciphered, translated, but it is not published so far, sir. John,
He is coming.
Next, please. So, these are more, we have a lot of inscriptions, and this one is a very interesting story, that when we went there, the local people have drilled out this inscription, and they brought back to their home. We went and we agreed that we will preserve this inscription at the museum. So we agreement with him, and then after that we ensure they give him this inscription. You can see, sir, this picture is in our car, back side of the car, sir. So these are the Devanagari scripts, sir, but the early form of Devanagari. And these are Charsadda script, and this is also the Charsadda script.
These are Polish.
No, sir.
These are Polish.
Which one?
Top one is
The top one.
the lower one also.
No, I have.
Russian position.
So,
Top one is Polish and Russian.
sir, you are all you Turkish, I know, sir. So the next one, please. This is another inscription which is found in the Valley, very common, the Charsadda inscription. This is the close-up view of the inscription. Next, please. After the inscription, we have a carving, very common. At their area, they have carved stupas, different type of stupas. They have a bass, drum, and chadrat as well. Next, please. Apart from this, the Hindu Shahi period fort are also reported from that area, which is very rich and very common. The bastions are very common in that area. And mostly, sir, these sites are located on the top of the mountain. But because, as I told you earlier, that the Mohmand district has 90% of the area has comprised on the mountain. That's why the 95% of the sites are located on the mountain. which you can hike and you will go to the field. Next, please. This is the Islamic graveyard cemeteries. There we have, unfortunately, the next please. We have a large type of graves. They have stelas, which is measured with 26 feet high. The stela, the headstones. So these are very common at the and sometimes the stelas have a very beautiful and they carve very designs. And you can see that different geometrical designs were carved on the graves as well. Next, please. And you have also, you can see also the fresco paintings on the graves. It is found in the Sherpa Bazaar in the upper Mohmand. Next, please. Watchtower is also very common. Next, please. So these are the Sherpa Bazaar, which we have found the fresco drawing on the graves. These are Sherpa Bazaar, Tīrthaṅkara Bazaar, as well as Waliullah. And they have tombs and very, very, very beautiful. Next, please. So we also observe that when we see that there are very common and the wells are very common in that area, but they have different variations. Some are the you can see that the diaper machinery. They have some rubber machinery as well as without machinery, and as well as you can see the storage of the water. Please. So these are pits which have found on that region are very common because they have on the top of the pit they have a stone, a big stone with a small hole, and then the small hole covered with the small stone. That's are very common. But these are there are also another pit. Next, please. So these are findings which some local people have donated, and some are we recovered from the surface of the archaeological sites. So these are beads which we found. These are the bangles and rings and chainmail wrists. These are the pictures. These are the endowment darts, etc. Next, please. So terracotta objects we found on the different. You can see the animal pictures, and as well as the birds are also exhibited on the pottery. Next, please. Figurines, molded figurines, and as well as the handmade figurines are also found in the different sites. These are the molded figurines, which I discussed with my respective teacher, that these are the dated back to the Indo-Greeks, and these are the arrows. Next, please. So these are the survey pie chart that we have prehistoric Teotihuacans, petroglyphs, Gandharas, Indo-Greeks, Sidi-Fatih Kushan, Hindu Shahis, Islamic, Mughal, and British. So these are the main sites which we recorded on in the Mohmand area. Next, please. So we have documented 75% of the area of the Mohmand, because the area was that time was the insurgency and law and order situation. Our directors have told us in our direction that he gave a direction that stopped the exploration. At that time, 25% are still undocumented, but this was the first proper documentation in the Fada region. Before this area has still uncovered because the Lutfur has also documented, but they have a minor work as well as the Muhammad Qasim Jan Sahib. He's also worked in their area, but they have these are not a local people, so therefore they were not familiar with their area. So I'm the first one who the familiar in the local people and dialects, and they will know me. So this is my opportunity to work at their area. So I work 75% of the area have been documented, but it needs to more documentation and excavation to preserve the area. This is my short presentation. I hope you will be. Thank you.
Presentation by Samiullah. If anyone has any question, yes, please.
Sir, you show a picture of prehistoric cave. So which evidence or basis you will say that he is a prehistoric cave?
When we dated that these sites are these.
My name is Waliullah. I'm currently serving at the Institute of Cultural Heritage, Tourism and Hospitality Management, University of Swat. I'm also VTC PhD Fellow of the University of Peshawar, Department of Archaeology. I also served at the Peshawar Museum as an assistant director. My topic today is cultural resilience in Swat Valley and its impact of extremism on heritage and tourism. But before I start my presentation, I would like to thank the organizers and all my teachers especially for this opportunity to present my paper, and also the donors and all the collaborators who generously participated or in whatever way, one way or the other, they collaborated. So I'm really thankful to them for this opportunity. So I will skip this slide because many of my colleagues yesterday and today, they have talked about the Swat Valley, about its rich cultural heritage, and it's about the potential of heritage sites. So I will skip this, and there's like, I will talk about only its tourism potential. Before starting this presentation, I would like to let you know about why I conducted this research. So this is a joint project that we have submitted to the British Council. It was fully funded by the British Council, and later on we have MOU with the Oxford University and then the Directorate of Archaeology and Museums Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. But unfortunately, the MOU with Tourism Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Tourism and Culture Authority has not been happened, though we wrote a letter to them. But with this platform, I would request the dignitaries and authorities of the tourism authority to pursue the MOU. So this is an interdisciplinary research which includes field surveys, ethnographic fieldwork, interviews with the locals, and also with the owners of the galleries and other stakeholders. So the key questions of my research are the impact of extremism on Swat's cultural heritage, tourism and hospitality industry. Between 2006 and 2014, the Swat cultural heritage was lost. So I will talk about how it was lost. Then I will talk about how the roles were played by the stakeholders in post-conflict scenario. And third, the role of local community and the indigenous people in safeguarding the cultural heritage. Next, please. So this is a general overview of the cultural profile of Swat. It shows that how the culture of Swat is rich from the Neolithic period until the Islamic period, and until when the Swat state was formed and then merged with Pakistan. Next. So Swat was, we all know that from Neolithic time, the different cultures lived there. But as a religious center, Swat remained a unique region for the international travelers like the pilgrims, three pilgrims, Kwan, Sangyu, and Kwanzan. They visited and recorded different monasteries and about the cultural life, like they talk about the flowers and the lush green meadows or valleys or rivers. But later on, when the last traveler came, he pointed out about the lost heritage. So it is not like it is for the first time that the conflict had begun, but in the past we have also examples. Next, please. This is a typical example of tourism in Swat. When the royal couple, Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth II, came to Swat and wrote about Swat, and during her comment, he said about like this is the Switzerland of the East. Next, please. About the archaeological heritage sites, more than 200 sites are recorded, and many more are still awaiting to explore. So there are more than 200 archaeological sites and one archaeological museum at Sahib. The sites include religious and secular settlement sites, and more than 30,000 antiquities has been unearthed so far. They are lying in Swat Museum. Now, when we talk about the extremism and terrorism in Swat, so the first example that we see is in Jahanabad, or the former Sheikhpure, the site of Sheikhpure. So the site has been named as Jahanabad. Two attacks have been happened on this particular site, and I have termed it as like the second Mahaparinirvan because the first had been already happened. So this was like a third share on the cultural heritage of Swat. So this was the first example in 2007, and this is the second example after the loss of heritage in Afghanistan. So the head was, most part of the head was lost, and also several damages to the shoulder and the hand areas if received. But after the post-conflict situation, what happened? The Italian archaeological mission working in Swat since 1954 and onwards, they worked on this 6-meter Buddha and they restored it to the original state. So it means that in the post-conflict scenario, action has been taken by the concerned authorities and it was restored to its original state. Similarly, we have examples of illegal excavations at Navagay site, that's in Berikot, and after that excavation, when it was reported to the local police, 6 were arrested. So this is an example that how heritage was lost during that insurgencies. Similarly, when illegal digs in Amrukdara were carried on during that period, so one of the Buddha statue was recovered from that site, and police has taken action, and then they recovered this statue. So this statue, which is now on display at Swat Museum, this has been recovered. Later on, when I was serving the Directorate of Archaeology as an assistant curator, so we excavated because most of the areas received multiple digs, illegal digs. So we need to restore it to its original state. So we excavated, and this is the excavation report. And this is the condition before conservation or restoration and during. This is before. During this, we installed scaffolding, and this is after. But what happened that when we were working, COVID outbreak, and then we have to stop our activities. Later on, when I was serving at Swat Museum, we have examples of many illegal digs at Abba, Cheena, Stupa complex, and multiple times there were news of firing, cross-firing. So later on, the Directorate of Archaeology and my colleague Saqib, Raza and his team, they excavated this site, and he talked about many things, so I will just skip this. So they excavated and they published its report. So this site is also now protected, and luckily I was serving there, so we checked the position of the site during this excavation. This site is Sahib Sharif. It turned into playground because there was no fencing, no caretaker, so it turned into playground, and you can see the kids are playing on the stupas. So later on, it was fenced. Similarly, several damages have been occurred at the site of Waqar, one site, because of the one mortar blast. Some of the stupas and some of the sculptures have been lost. But nowadays, in 2013 and 14, the site has been fenced and it has been restored. This is the photo after conservation. Similarly, this is the site of Parn. The site of Parn also received several damages, and it was bombarded during 2009, and several stupas have been destroyed. But after Italian archaeological mission, they restored it to its original state. And when I was working with them, we fenced, and the site is now protected by the Directorate of Archaeology. Similarly, a blast occurred near the gate of Swat Museum. So this is the condition of the antiquities. You can see several damages have been occurred inside the museum, also at the reserve collection and at the store. So this is inside the museum.
दूसरी चीजें हैं या दूसरे डिशेस हैं, उसको भी आपने तवज्जो देनी है।
सर आपका बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट है। जो एग्जीबिशन हमने कराया था उसमें हमने फूड फेस्टिवल रखा था, और फूड फेस्टिवल में हमने पिज्ज़ा या शॉर्मा ये नहीं रखा था, बल्कि हमने स्वाद की जो लोकल डिशेस हैं, जिस तरह के बरजरे हो गए, जिस तरह के लौंगे, अगर हमारे पास चावल हैं वो हमने रख दिए, उनके जो बाकी कटोरी है वो हमने रख दिए, और लोगों को टैग्स के जरिए, लेबल्स के जरिए, डिस्क्रिप्शंस के जरिए हमने समझाया मुख्तलिफ लैंग्वेजेस में कि ये जो चीज़ है ये इसको पश्तो में ये कहते हैं, और ये हम बनाते थे। तो मतलब हम एजुकेशन उस लिहाज से उसमें भी कर रहे हैं। ये हमने एक एग्जीबिशन में हमने किया सर। आप क्वेश्चन बाकी किसी का क्वेश्चन है सर?
I'm not a student of archaeology, but just like I have also a comment. What I have visited, northern side and now the Swat Valley, I salute their pioneers. Do we have any plan there? I am commenting because I think the government is also sitting here, so it's to point out that do we have a plan that can we educate the local people at school level, just like we are using templates, just like we are using programs especially at schools. Is the universities capable to do so, to train the local people how to work just like that they are receiving visitors at their homes, at their villages, and can we train them to save their own culture by themselves?
Do we have any plan for it or not?
थैंक यू सर, आपने बहुत अच्छा कमेंट किया। सर हमने अभी तक तो उसको मटेरियलाइज नहीं किया, लेकिन हम ये सोच रहे हैं कि हम जितने भी हमारे पार्टनर्स हैं, जिस तरह की ब्रिटिश काउंसिल है या ऑक्सफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी है, और अगर फॉर एग्जांपल KPCTA के साथ हमारी अगर MOU हो जाती है, तो हम एक लिंक बनाएंगे ना। ये क्योंकि एक बंदे का काम नहीं है, यूनिवर्सिटी करके करेगी तो फिर हमारी तो वो जो एकेडमिक हमारे काम है वो तो हम रह जाएंगे ना। तो हम ये कैसे कर सकते हैं, जिस तरह के हम अभी जो रिसर्च कर रहे हैं, फाइनल प्रोजेक्ट्स कर रहे हैं, तो उसमें स्टूडेंट्स को हमने एंगेज किया हुआ है कि आप कम्युनिटी में जाएं। जिस तरह के चारबाग में हमने एक कम्युनिटी थी जो तंदूर बनाती है ट्रेडिशनल तरीके से, हैंडमेड तंदूर, तो हमने उनको भेजा और हमने कहा कि आप उसको रिकॉर्ड करें और उसके साथ मिलें और उसको कहें कि ये जो काम है ये इसके नाम क्या है, औजार के, और हर चीज़ पर हमने उसको कर दिया। फिर हम स्कूल, प्राइवेट स्कूल्स के, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट स्कूल का तो आपको पता है कि वो आपको एक चैनल के थ्रू आना पड़ेगा और वो हमारे करिकुलम में रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं है। तो हमने प्राइवेट स्कूल के ऑनर्स के साथ बात की और उन बच्चों को हम लेके गए और वो एक्टिविटीज़ हमने की प्राइवेट स्कूल्स के, लेकिन गवर्नमेंट के साथ पे हमने वो चीज़ नहीं की अभी तक।
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि लोग जब तो इसके बारे में
ये तो जो अभी क्योंकि मैं यूनिवर्सिटी का मुलाजिम हूँ तो वो बेहतर आंसर कर सकते हैं डायरेक्टरेट वाले, लेकिन मैं आपको जो बात कह रहा हूँ कि मतलब हमारे पास अगर लोग आते भी हैं तो वो पहले से तय किया होता है कि हमने कहाँ पे जाना है, ठीक है, पहले से तय किया होता है। तो बात लोग हैं कि मैं देख रहा हूँ कि मतलब 40% 50% लोग इंटरेस्ट ले रहे हैं, लेकिन कुछ मसाइल ऐसे हैं जिस तरह के फॉर एग्जांपल रेस्टोरेंट इंडस्ट्री है, तो वो आप देखें पहले लोग दरगाह में स्टे करते थे, ठीक है, अब वो दरगाह के बजाय फुल चौकी या चकरा में स्टे करते हैं, वहाँ पे वो रेस्टोरेंट इंडस्ट्री शिफ्ट हो गई है। तो बाज़ जगहों पे जो रूट्स हैं वो चेंज हो जाते हैं। जिस तरह की फॉर एग्जांपल आप शमोजे की तरफ से जाएँ तो वो आप रिपोर्ट मिस कर जाते हैं फिर, ठीक है। तो वो लोग उस चीज़ों को भी देखते हैं कि हमने किस रूट के थ्रू जाना है और किस रूट के थ्रू आना है। तो कुछ चीज़ें ऐसी हैं कि वो हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं है, लेकिन एजुकेशन जो है या अवेयरनेस वो हमारे पास में हम कर सकते हैं। शुक्रिया आप सबका।
Thank you so much. The presentation was of Mr. Waqar. Yeah, because you give thank you. I was so much interested in it, not only me, but of course the audience, because the excavation you conducted in 2019. 2019, yeah, and then you gave a historical background of the whole process and activities success from the British period. Yeah, that's wonderful, very good. But we skipped one excavation. Why
your excavation?
Because
I don't have but I don't have any record of the excavation.
Yeah, but at least you should have mentioned that Cambridge University has also done some excavation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Cambridge.
And now we are waiting for the publication. That is very important.
We are working on it. In the first we study points,
Yeah.
and then we publish complete report of it.
Yeah.
Usually beads, all of them are nice catalog. It is actually a depth of 12 meters.
I suggest you, and maybe in collaboration or individually you can do it, but you should do a diagnosis study of the site, because it's a very huge site. You can't cover this in years. You should select, like we did for Aziz Dairy site. You should select parties, and then you should go step by step. You know, if you go do the excavation for 3 meters here, and start the lower level for 3 more meters there, and then you will go on that, and you will have the complete profile like Wheeler did.
Yes, sir.
But he was focusing on one area. And you have to choose different area, and then it will give you a very, I hope.
Sir, for this, Zakir Sahib selected Eastern, Mount and
Yeah, that's what
what
about.
are the 5 kinds of protein that came from that Eastern mountain?
And no seed was found there.
No, sir.
So this is my suggestion. That was wonderful, very good. And we are waiting for the publication. Yeah, and it's very good discovery. And the suggestion is that you have to continue that and do the diagnostic study at the site. So that will be thank you. So the second presentation was from Mr. Asif Rana. Very impressed. Why? Personally, I'm sure all of you, because that area is totally barren. That's about the Jain, Jainism. Or where is Mr. Rana? Yeah. So thank you very much. That is very good because we are mostly focusing on Hindu period and Buddhist, mostly, Islamic period. But the Jain period or the Jain archaeology or the Jain heritage is very few people are working on that area. I remember in India, yes, there is multiple publications, so many people are there. But in Pakistan, I was reading one article from Chawla, Professor Chawla, and one from Professor Hamid. So the data you have showed to us, that's wonderful. And keep it up. Yeah, that's very, very interesting. The third presentation was from Saqib, Raza, that is from Abba Cheena. Yeah, Abba Cheena is, of course, Swat Valley is full of Buddhist archaeological site. That's no doubt. But that site is very important for different reasons. And one of the reasons that attracted me a lot, that is the fresco, the Buddhist painting we found there. And that site was robbed by different people, by local people, for so many years. And then it was just ignored, the site. And thanks to the Provincial Directorate of Archaeology to decide to go there and excavate there. Of course, there's no stratigraphy there because that is just a mess. Every day people go there, they excavate there. So you have just to do the excavation and the rubbish in the dumps. But the most important discovery you made there, where's Asif? The presenter. Yeah, so thank you very much. Even you are a young scholar, you couldn't do the very systematic work, but even then, you people did a wonderful job to discover those paintings. And that painting is not of the winged Buddha. That is in fact a celestial figure you can see in Iran painting around in some Professor Neem or Hamid Washans, he referred to that. So they are very common. You see, you have this mesh up here, and the rest is barred, and the ones are there. And the Buddhist art we can also find, especially from the Buddhist side of Waqar tree, you can find those. So these are very common. So that is not winged Buddha. So for comparison, you can refer to Miran paintings discovered by Palestine. Right? So wonderful job. Thank you very much. Exploration, the real Samiullah. Samiullah, yeah, thank you very much, because you were the first to show me the Charsadda inscription from Chitra. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. And you are continuing exploring more and more Charsadda inscriptions. And not only me, Professor Rahman will also be very happy because he is the main scholar in that field, So fortunately, you have discovered more Charsadda inscription there. And at the same time, I'm proud of Mr. Jangul, who's told me that he deciphered the Khyber inscriptions. Yes, sir. Wonderful. But I have to check the reading and the translation as well. It's correct or not. So this is very, very important, and I think that your data will also help Professor Dr. Ejaz, because there are some
36 sites have been documented by belonging to Hindu Shah.
And especially the pit.
Yes.
with a large stone.
Yes, but he didn't mention that whether those were found inside or close to the Hindu Shahi sites periods, but he just mentioned whether they found in isolation.
Yeah, anyhow you have coordinated.
Yes.
So that's one that you make sure that.
The whole
So thank you very much. Yeah, that's extremely important. And then the last and the lengthy discussion with this was Ms. Waliullah from Swat. Yeah, mainly focusing on these illegal diggings and after these unfortunate incidents in that area. But that's the bad luck not only started during their period, just since from the very beginning. I remember Professor Swat, you wrote an article on that and submitted to a journal published in Germany, as far as I remember correctly. So this started since from the French period, this illegal damaging of the monuments. So this is not a phenomenon of today or of that incident. But there are several factors involved, of course. And we are always focusing or pointing our finger to other people, or the community, or the terrorists, but we are not thinking about what we are doing as being archaeologists. A few years back, I visited the site of Bahu site. This is Bahu. Yeah, and it was almost encroached by the houses there. And I wanted to go, for my first and other use, and was looking for any place to sit or to, you should understand what I mean, but there's no facilities. So you can't ask, and I was also director of archaeology for frontier archaeology, yeah, and I was receiving enough funds, and I'm sure you people have this. Province government. So at least you should build a washroom that how you can attract tourists there. So you should not leave everything on the government, you have how much money you need to build a washroom there, or to prepare a path, a proper way to enter to the mound. So these are beautiful sites, and when we excavate a site, we shouldn't excavate a site, there are a lot of sites there. But once we do it, we should protect it, and we have to start from ourselves, what we can do, and then we have to ask other people. So the community awareness is, of course, very important. Collaboration with international agencies are very important, but we have to begin with. We should depend and look to other people. So you showed different slides, explained different things, and these damages made during this crisis. But this will continue, I hope not, but this is the human evolution, these things are since from the very beginning, but we have to do some efforts to limit it. So thank you very much for your presentation, it was very, very good.
Thank you very much, Dr. Naseem Khan sir. Let me to correct you, sir, regarding the Abba Sahib Cheena, particularly this so-called winged Buddha figure. The Directorate of Archaeology, they have given information to the newspaper, and an article was published in
I know that.
Yeah. And another thing, this Saqib Raza has given interview to one of the channel where he used this particular term. So now you have clarified, I think they should properly compare this particular object in order to make clarification. So
protection is more important.
Yeah.
What is there now, what is gone is gone.
Yeah.
What are there now, they have to protect it. Because these are unique almost. So they should be used. You are right.
According to by many scholars, Charsadda world, there is no Charsadda world as such. The actual name is Charsadda. not Charsadda. It's Charsadda, and is the name of a writing that is very well known. Is known after Charsadda Devi, whose temple is in a very dilapidated state in Azad Kashmir. So please remember that it is not Charsadda, it's the Charsadda. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So, Dr. Zakir, from my side is Swat.
Sir, please have to participate in the paper machine basically, and then we will be having the final session, the concluding session. Dr. Shikhi conclude the stage and
Mr. Asif Mahmood Rana. Mr. Saqib Raza. Mr. Samiullah. Mr. Mohmand Waliullah.
Done, sir. Done.
Thank you.
So now this session is closed. Professor Dr. Naim Qazi to give the gift